Just let me know if you can hear me. Ha! Thank you. So good. Thank you so much. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, I would just, because we have just 1 hour, I planned just 1 hour for this today. So I would just like go straight into the topic of today, which is, how to which is about how to to create wealth. And you are here today, you want to learn about wealth creation because you just feel there has to be something different about you feel you need to do something else apart from what you've been doing before, and you want to learn how those people you're aspiring to, you've always seen saying, okay, yeah, this is how they structured their wealth, this is how they came about, or this is what they've been able to achieve. We want to see what exactly what was the hurdle they had to overcome before they can say, okay, now I am wealthy, or before you can consider them as wealthy. So those are the things I'll be discussing with you today. I'll be going into discussing 4 or 5 things you have to think about whenever you are looking at wealth creation. Okay. And if you have any question, just let me know. I would be more than happy to, support you. I would be more than happy to answer your questions as much as I can. And yes, so that's it. So if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to support you. I would answer it as much as I can. All right, one of the first things I would like to talk about today it's about one of the first things I'll be talking about today is about capital. And before I even mention that at all, I would like to say something that money doesn't eliminate poverty. How many of you can agree to that? Okay, money doesn't eliminate poverty. And that means that money fails primarily, and that's because, and why does money, why can't money, why, if you want to know, if you are doubting this, or if you don't want to agree to this fact, just think about so much the number of aids that the African continent had received in the past, I don't know, in the past decade or in the past 2 or 3 decades. But yet, if you look at the continent, you still realize that there's still a lot of poverty in the land. And for me, that is a what's it called? That is a very cogent point to say, you know what, it's not about the money you are throwing at people, or it's not about the money you are amassing, right? So money doesn't eliminate poverty. All right, so I want you to hold that and think about it. However, if you are saying that, okay, money does not eliminate poverty, what then does? What eliminates poverty? Well, one of the things that eliminates poverty is self-reliance. That is, you are the one that would eliminate your own poverty. Right? You are the one that would look at you yourself, and see how you can make yourself become a capital. Right? Explore yourself explore yourself and make yourself that capital that you need to make money. Right? So the point is, I've said 2 things now, or 3 things. Money doesn't eliminate poverty. What eliminates poverty is self-reliance. Okay? Self-reliance. You have to rely on yourself. And that is so because you are the capital. Okay? I hope that is quite clear for you. Now, if you are saying that you are the capital, then how does this relate to how I'm going to create wealth for myself? Because that is why we are all here. We want to learn about how to create wealth. All right. So how does that translate? Well, there are 3 things you have to think about when you think, or when you look at yourself as a capital. First, you have to think about your head, right? You have to think about your hands, right? And you have to think about your heart. Okay, those 3 things are the core of your self-reliance. All right, they are the main things that actually helps your self-reliance. They are the drivers, they are the things that will give you that capital. They are the main core. They are the core of your self-reliance. And why did I say head, your hands, and your heart? Your head, because your knowledge, the knowledge you have. Maybe you went to school, you graduated, you learned some things in school, you had some experience. Those experience, the knowledge that you have, is a capital. That is what will generate money for you, and that is what will help you in your wealth creation. Exactly. Money fails. Yes. Thank you, Oladayo. Money fails. Money fails. Thank you. So money fails. Thank you very much. So like I said, your head, your head is your your drum or your well of knowledge, and that thing is part of your capital. Now, we can separate that, we can put that aside. The second thing that I said that is part of your capital, or is the other core of your capital, is I said your hands. Think about it. What can you do with your hands? What can do you write? Do are you a fast typer? Can you code? Can you do something like some crafts? What are the things you can do with your hands? All right. So, and those are the things that helps you to generate capital. Those are the things that helps you to make you more worthy. Because, for example, you pay a seamstress, or you pay a designer because of what? Because they can use their brain, right, to imagine something, and they can use their hands, or while they type, and use whatever with their mouse and everything to draw or to create something. And that is the capital. Are you getting me? So if you have any question, if there is any comment that you have, please just drop them in the comment section. I will pick it up. But I just want to be sure that this is making sense for you. Now, I said there are three things. The other thing is, like I said, your heart. And that is when we look at your mindset, your perseverance in, pushing your grit, to make sure that, what, this wealth, I have to have it. I have to position myself to have that wealth. So you have to look at, so by the time you combine your knowledge, you combine your skills, right? The things you can do with your hands, and you combine your desire, your mindset, your perseverance to pursue, to stay on the course, to, in the face of, even when you hit the wall, you said, no, I'm hitting the wall, but I'm breaking this wall. And that sits in your mindset, that sits in your heart. So by the time you put together these three H, right, then you have a capital to say, okay, this is what I have, and this is what I want to turn to wealth. Okay, so is that clear? If you have, like I said, if you have any question, just let me know. So that is the first thing you have to know in terms of how to create wealth. So just look at, for example, when I said you have to, the designer, like the person that draws or makes some designs, the person has the heart, the hand, and the head to consider a particular design, and then the person says, okay, I'm going to create something, I'm going to put it out there, and if somebody buys it, the person earns, right? You earn, and then by the time you earn, it's either you eat what you earn, or what? You save some and invest some. And that takes us to the next level. So now that you have your capital, and you know that when you look at in the business world, when you look at capital is not something that you eat. Capital is something that you invest to give you more, right? Capital is something that you invest to give you more, to give you some returns. Now, when you invest that capital, you begin to ask yourself, all right, you put it to work like the designer, and then the person earns some money. Then the next thing you have to think about is, like I said, it's either you eat all the money, or it says, okay, you know what? I'm going to separate part of this money. I'm going to put I'm going to invest part of it. And then the person starts to invest. Okay, I will invest in stock exchange, or I will invest in, in a particular product or in another business, and and that earns money for him. And after, if he's fortunate enough and that earns money for him, then he's on his way to wealth creation, because he's continuing his normal day-to-day job of designing, and the other portion of the money that he set aside into that business or into the investment portfolio is generating some income, whether he likes it or not, whether he sleeps or not, whether he makes some drawing or not. The other part, the portion that he assigned to investment, is generating income, and that is how wealth is created. Okay, so if you have any question up to now, just let me know. Just put it out in the comment section. I will pick it up. Now, when we go back to the case of that designer, you can have the capital, but then if you don't, like I said, if you don't invest the capital will not bring any form of returns to you, which means that there are some other things that you need. I'll call them the catalyst that you need, to actually make that capital give you the yields that you want. So the number one thing is that you want to be sure that you need information. You need information. Capital without information is like, excuse me, capital without information is like capital. There is nothing, it's like saying 1 + 0. But when you have capital and then you combine it with information, right, then you are starting to create a product. You're starting to create a product because the information, for example, would help you to, you would help you to identify what opportunities exist. And that is what informations do for you, right? The first thing you do about information is you access the information, you have access to it. The second thing is that you know that it's not just about having the access to that information, but it's also about, the timeliness of that information. Do you have access to that information at that point in time that it is very cogent for you, right? And that's the second thing. And then the third thing will now be, look, so what are the opportunities that are part of this information that you have, which is now the three things that you have to look under information. So for example, I like this example a lot, the example of Bitcoin. People who invested in Bitcoin or people who bought Bitcoin when it was in its early age, like in 2010, in 2010, right? They bought it at, I think, 6 cents. Yeah, 6 cents. So imagine those people today, like as of today. Their 6 cents per Bitcoin is now almost like $50,000. Like, it just, whenever I think about it, it just wows my mind. And you know what makes the difference between somebody like, for me now, I don't have a whole Bitcoin. I don't have like 50,000. I don't have a whole single Bitcoin, right? But then the difference between myself and those people, or the difference between you if you don't have Bitcoin now, and those people, is because of information. So where are you accessing information? You have to like look at that. Where are you accessing? What kind of information do you have access to? So are you just holding your capital to yourself and you say, okay, oh, I want to explore, but I don't know, and then you're not doing anything about it. So you begin to ask yourself, so where is the information related to my own capital that I have? How can I access this information? What opportunities are there? Right? So maybe the example of the Bitcoin is different, is a little bit, extreme. Again, you have your capital, but then in this world of social media, in this world of internet, you don't know how to invest your capital to give you money. But then you are always on Twitter, commenting on people's Twitter, commenting on Facebook, people's comments on Facebook, wishing people happy birthday. Meanwhile, on Facebook, on Twitter, there are loads, and on other platforms, there are loads of information that are related to the capital that you have. And if you actually use the capital that you have, which is yourself. Remember what capital is: your skills, your knowledge, and your perseverance to pursue. If you combine those three things with the information you have, you're on your way to creating wealth. You are what? You are on your way to creating wealth, and that is how you look at it. You don't look at it as a in terms of dichotomy, like as funnels, but you look at it in a broad perspective. So, for example, I see that people are discussing about Bitcoin or something. Of course, I will look at, okay, how does this particular topic relate to what I'm doing right now? How can I use my knowledge? How can I use my skills to explore this particular topic? Right? Can I create a product out of it? Now, so I'm creating a product out of it by, trying to, on YouTube, by trying to do what? Explain to people about the concept of Bitcoin. That is me using my skills with the information I have to start to lay the foundation for wealth. Because if the videos I'm making on those topics, it's, of course, YouTube will pay me for making those videos, for enlightening people. And that is how, I hope you're getting it, and that is how you start to create wealth. Again, if you have questions, just drop them. I'll pick them up. I'll pick them up as I go. The other thing you have to also consider, when you're thinking about how to create wealth, will be that, what are the tools you have in terms of systems. I mentioned before, like social media. I mentioned your phones. I mentioned laptops. I mentioned internet. Right? Those are some of the tools and systems in this age that we are in this particular century, the digital century. Your phone and your laptop are your main tools for you to create wealth. Right? They are the main tools that you need. So if you're still struggling with basic Excel, if you're still struggling with Word, a friend was telling me something that, okay, somebody studied accounting and cannot really operate Microsoft Excel. And I'm like, okay, how do you even add that up? I'm unable to add it up in my brain, right? That, okay, you're in accounting and then you deal with numbers. So you have to be able to like use Excel, right? So again, use the tools that you have. Familiarize yourself with the tools in your industry that relate to your knowledge, your skills, your mindset. The example of this accountant that I mentioned that, studied accountancy but cannot operate itself. Fine, maybe the person doesn't want to go into accounting. But imagine if this person wants to make a career in accounting. It's going to be miserable if he cannot operate Excel. I'm sorry, but that is the way it is. It will be a miserable life. Right? So, again, we should look at the tools, the systems that we have access to, to start to lay the background or to lay the cornerstones for our wealth creation. And before I go ahead to the next one, which is risk, one thing about social media, one thing about phones and laptops and internet is that, they are, personally, I see a lot of opportunities, right? I see a whole lot of opportunities on those platforms, and most of us just pass on them because we think, okay, it's meant for some people. No, it's not meant for some people. It is meant for you. And you're not just to go there to entertain yourself. You have to use it to educate and start to use it to create wealth. When you go online, you see kids, like teenagers, you see people in their early 20s doing fantastic things by just, maybe someone said what they do is that they create designs for t-shirts, right? Create designs for t-shirts and then post it on this website that creates the t-shirt, and then they start selling. So you don't do anything. All you have to do is to have the idea to have a design, get it created. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be the one to create the design yourself, right? You can tell someone, you can go on Fiverr, tell someone to create a design, maybe with $30 or even $20. Tell someone to create a design, post it on this website, create t-shirts out of it, right? And then list it, and people will come and buy. So you're doing nothing, sitting at your home, and money is coming to knock for you. That's okay. I'm here. And that's for example a simple form of passive income. And passive income is one of the key ways to create wealth. Which means that you're not actively involved in the wealth creation. Rather, you've set up some systems, and those systems worked for you. Okay, again, that's another important thing you have to know about how to create wealth. You have to look at your capital. You have to look at the information that you have access to. You have to look at your tools and your systems, and you have to look at how to generate passive income. If today you're on this video and you're not thinking about, or it's not even your radar, I want you to start thinking about it. So, okay, what are the things I can do that I can start to create passive income? Whether you are doing a 9 to 5 or you are running a business, you don't have to be there to create passive income. You just need to have a kind of system that you've created, and the system will work on its own. There's so many, a popular one would be affiliate marketing, for example, or even Airbnb. Yeah, I know because of Corona, maybe it's affected a particular industry. But for example, for me, in 2019, I did some Airbnb gigs, and I gained some money from it, right? Of course, I paid my taxes, but then without doing I didn't have to do anything extra. All I needed to do was to take a nice picture of where I wanted to let out, put it on the internet, and the day I pasted that picture on the internet, within 2 hours, I got a request. I got booked. So what I'm saying is that it's you have everything that you need to create that wealth. You just need to look on the inside and then see what can be done for yourself. All right. So that's that. And then I go ahead to the other point I want to talk about would be in terms of when you're looking at how to create wealth. You want to also look at calculated risk, right? You don't want to just take any form of risk, because taking any form of risk is like being careless. So for example, I will not go and put all my savings into Bitcoin today, because that's a lot of risk. And why? Because Bitcoin is very volatile. Like on Tuesday it was $45,000. On Thursday it's $50,000. That's like 10%, like within 2 or how many days? 10%. And I think a day before that it was around a week before that it was around 50,000, and then within few days a lot of value was wiped off and recreated. So you don't want to do that. When you are thinking about, okay, how do I create my wealth? How do I create wealth? How do I, go out of this? While you are planning to use your capital, you're also looking at taking calculated risk. Your risk has to be calculated, right? So, and we all know that, there's no fun without risk. The same thing, there is no wealth without risk. Again, there is no wealth without risk. It's as simple as that. My risk might be different from yours, or will be different from yours. Your risk will be different from somebody else's risk. But everybody has to take some kind of calculated risk. All right, so to that point of calculated risk, you might say, yeah, but the rich people are not taking any risk. Of course, they are taking some risk. So, for example, most of us know that most of these tech startup people are college dropouts or university dropouts, right? Now, the risk they took was leaving school to pursue their dream. Which means if that thing fails, if that dream fails, then there's no school for them, right? But they know that, okay, you know what, I cannot afford to not to pursue, I cannot afford not to win. And that is why they would put everything into it, all their capital into it, all their heart, and they'll be very disciplined to make sure that they achieve that thing. I hope you are getting it. If you have questions, please drop them, and I'll pick it up. And I hope I'm not speaking above your head. Give me some love. Give me some love in the comment section. I want to see some love. Thank you. I want to see some love. Give me some love in the comment section. All right. Yes, let's go ahead. So, again, to calculated risk. Sorry, I'm trying to remember where I stopped. Yeah. So for example, a lot of those high net worth people, like the wealthy people, right? They also have, like I said, they always take risk. There's something that is of risk to them or for them. So for example, when you are starting up a business, sometimes it takes more time, it takes more energy, it takes more, in fact, more time, such that some people, they would neglect their relationships. Now, I'm not saying that you should, not cater for your family members or your relationships while you're trying to build a business, or while you're trying to, in your journey of wealth creation. What I'm saying is that you prioritize what is important per time. That is what I'm saying. So you see some of these high-tech startup people that while they are starting up, before they hit the roof, like they work 16 hours per day. And that is a kind of calculated risk that they are taking, because of course, out of that 16 hours, they could have used some of those hours for their family members. They could have used it for their friends or for their spouse, or for something, right? And even the money they're investing in their own business. They could have used the money to do something else, or maybe say, okay, you know what, I would rather, instead of me investing this money in my business, I would rather use this money to do something else. So they are taking risk every day, but it is calculated. And the same thing with you. You don't just take any uncalculated risk, you will take calculated risk. Because when you take calculated risk, you have, it helps you to preserve the little, like it helps you to preserve your wealth. You don't act stupidly to overspend, or just spend anyhow. Rather, you preserve your wealth in a way, right? And that is one important thing I would want you to know in terms of when you're thinking about how do I create my wealth. Take calculated risk. Don't just be wild when you're thinking of creating wealth. Thank you for sending me some love, Josh. All right. Okay. So now, let's just discuss how do people actually, get wealth. Or before we go that route, I want to tell you something. I said that when I started, I said money fails. That what you need to create wealth is you. You are the one. You are the thing. The raw material you need to create wealth. Wealth creation starts from you. However, right, it requires money to make money. Right? Money births money. And this is not contradictory. Why is it not contradictory? Because the capital that you need when you are starting is you. And then you first earn something. You had some earnings after maybe you created a particular course, or you created a particular design and you sold it, or you helped something, you got engaged in a 9-to-5 and you were working and you got some money, right? That is the starting point. The next level is that the money that you have after you've earned, right? The money earned that you have, you don't eat it, what you do is to say, okay, so how can I use this money to create even more money? So at the second level, at the secondary level, money birth money. But for you to start, you have to, put in yourself to start to create. The primary level of wealth creation is you, right? You had the capital. The secondary level is the money. I hope this is clear. And that is why, the to-dos of creating wealth would be that when you earn, right, you don't just eat everything. The first thing you do is to pay yourself first. You prioritize yourself. You respect yourself by paying yourself first. Okay? You respect yourself by doing what? Paying yourself first. And that is how you create wealth. And when you pay yourself first, it means that I'm not saying that you should just spend money. I'm not saying in terms of paying yourself first, like buying shoes or buying things or something like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you pay yourself first in terms of saving. You save with the intention that, okay, that savings that you have after paying yourself first, I'm moving it into investment. You're moving it into investment. Savings doesn't really, in fact, today you have you have 0% interest rate on some savings. Like you even pay the bank, to so that they can help you save your money. Right? So saving helps you to start to gather the muscle to eventually invest, right? So once you know that, okay, this particular saving has gotten to a particular threshold, you do what? You transfer to investment, because that is where your money will start earning on a passive basis. Okay? All right. I wanted to talk about how do people come into money. So people come into money, I think you know this already. People come into money by inheritance. So my father is rich and then sent me some, gave me some part of his wealth through trust, or just through wealth. Another way people go come into money is by producing something, creating something, and that is again using that principle of you being the capital. You saying, you know what, I'm going to use my head, my hands, and my heart to create something. And if you create that and that product eventually blows, like we say in Nigeria, like it's everywhere. It explodes, right? You stumble into wealth, the wealth of money, right? And then the other part is that you invest. Investing can help you become wealthy. Investing can help you become wealthy. Investing can help you do what? Become wealthy. I hope that is clear. All right. A quick recap on the things I've said. I said you are the capital, right? You have to combine your 3H, your head, your heart, your hands. Use it to produce something, or use it as a service for something. So you are either producing, right, or you are using it to serve, so that the person you are serving is paying you. And then you have your first capital. You have your first material capital in terms of money. Now, when you have your material capital in terms of money, you don't eat it. Rather, you use it to earn again. How do you use it to earn again? You put it into investment. And then you roll over. And then roll over. And then it compounds. And that is how to create wealth. That is the basis, the very basics about wealth creation. There is no hard math about it. There is no hard math about it. And the more products or services you're able to produce, and the more you are able to turn your income, the real capital, the physical capital you're getting from those things into the secondary level of capital in terms of investing, the more your wealth increases. It's very exponential. It's really, really exponential. I hope you understand it, and I hope that this is very clear for you. If you have any question, just drop them in the comment section. I'm looking at it and I'll pick it up anytime. And if you have other questions around wealth creation, maybe something more practical in terms of, okay, so these are my skills and I want to know what are the things I can do to create the first capital, just let me know and then we can pick it up. Or okay, so if you want to know about what you can invest in or investing options for you, you can also put it there. If you want to know about, in terms of behavioral questions around investing, you can also put it there. I will pick it up as usual. All right, guys. So I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I hope before I go ahead, if you have a question, just let me know, and then I'll pick it up. I just want feedback from you because I think I'm I'm feeling I'm alone here, but I know I'm not alone because I can see some chats coming in. Okay. All right. So that is that about how to create wealth. Again, it's about you getting making yourself the capital, and you are the capital, and making sure that you're earning, and then turning that earning into investing, and then you're compounding the investment, and that is how. Thank you, Oladayo. And that is how you gain. That is how you create wealth. All right. So that is that bucket. The second bucket is then in terms of practical ways. How can you then implement some of these things? I already mentioned. I gave an example of the designer, right? The other ways you can do it, the other ways you can start to create wealth would be that again, using your savings, putting it, for example, in the stock market. So I think a couple of days ago I posted something about investing in the stock market, and somebody reminded me of 2008, that there was the market crashed and a lot of people lost their money, which for me is fine, is okay, right? And I said, oh, I know a lot of people. I also lost money then because I'd already started buying shares before that, and so some of my shares dropped in terms of value. But what I didn't do was that when I made those investments, when the crash happened, I didn't sell it up because I didn't have a need for the money. Which means, as an investor, I left it. I consider myself as an investor, so I just left it at, okay, I hope the world economy would improve, and I'll be able to gain some money from it later on. Believe you me, the investment that I had then, some of them had multiplied, and some of them I continued getting dividend from them year on year. I think, as a matter of fact, some of them had gotten the investment I made. The investment I made as at then, I'd gotten back the money 10 years later. So now whatever happens to it is still there. I still get income from it, and then, but it's still there. So my point is that don't look at when you're looking at how to create wealth. Don't focus on the downturns. Don't focus on when markets are bad. Markets get bad, but they also get good. Don't focus on just the bust. Markets will bust, but then people. Okay, thank you, Ladayo. I would pick up that question. Market will bust at any time, but then people would always, add value to the economy, and the economy will pick up, right? So I cannot imagine that. So for example, on yesterday when I checked the S&P 500, the S&P 500 compared to 5 years ago is like 104%, as like 104% increase from what the value of it is 5 years ago. What that means is this: if you invested in a fund, in an exchange traded fund, right? maybe through your broker or yourself in an exchange traded fund, 5 years, S&P 500 exchange traded fund 5 years ago, if you dropped $100 as at that time 5 years ago, today you decide to say, okay, you know what, I think I'm tired of this S&P thing, I want to get out, I want to recall my income, my investment back, you would get almost $208 back. After your, of course, you pay your fees and all that, you'll get $208 back. Simple. So imagine if you had dropped 1,000, that would be $2,080. Or imagine if you had dropped a 10,000, you would have gotten above 20,000. Imagine if you had dropped 100,000 as at that time, you would have gotten what, 200,000. If you have dropped like 1,000,000, you will get what, 2,000,000. I don't know, are you getting? So the other points there for me is that, the more you have, the easier it is to actually know. The more the bigger what you are doing, the more you have, the bigger it becomes. Let me put it that way. Because if you had the opportunity to put $10,000 instead of 100, of course go ahead, because then you would automatically get another 10,000, which is way different from if you just dropped like 1,000 and you are getting 1,000. They are two different things, and that is one of the principles of wealth creation. Like, so don't neglect where you are starting today. Don't say, okay, it is small or anything. Just start with your chicken money. Start with that small thing that you have. Start with it, and then you will see the increase. Because the thing is, if you start small, you have the courage to even do bigger. But if you cannot be faithful in small things, even in investment, that thing that Jesus said, if you are not faithful in small things, how can I commit bigger things to you? The same thing in investing. If you cannot be faithful in small investing, small savings, you won't be able to do bigger savings or bigger investing. And that is a very profound principle in the world of personal finance. All right. What are the practical options available for one with low income earnings to make personal finance and investment decisions in less savvy options? All right. So one of the things I would say would be that, okay, find businesses that you can invest in. For example, maybe someone that is diligent, someone that they are good with their work, and you can actually monitor them. This is quite risky, but I would say it anyway. I know that they can be trusted. Do you understand? And you can fund their business. You can actually, but you do it in such a way that you make it look like it's an institution funding it. You get, make it look like it's an institution funding it. Because if you come out as, okay, I'm the one doing it, they might want to use the people privilege and want to abuse it. But if you make it look like, okay, it's an institution that is funding it, and then they will, of course, come back for their money, it's most likely that without stress, you get your money back and even an income on it. So that's one. The second thing is that you can invest in business personally for yourself. So you can say, okay, this $100 I have, or this $200 I have, I would invest it in online business. There are online businesses that you can invest in. So you buy things online and you sell. For example, on Amazon, you look for what people are likely to buy. You do drop shipping, right? You do drop shipping. You go to AliExpress, buy it in bulk, send it to your place, package it, put it on. You can fulfill it by yourself, put it on Amazon, send it out, or you can do it. You can even on Shopify. You can package it, and then on Shopify you can put it up on Shopify, and people will order it and they will sell. So you can. It's simple. I saw a video of a lady one day that she said she with $400 she started a a Shopify business. So that $400, I think she used like 160 dollars to buy the product from China, another 160 to just talk to one or two influencers to, promote the products, and then she used one or two other things to pay some things, and I can't remember again. And then that particular product for her generated, like, I think after the first 160, after the first cohort of things she placed, she sold, she got like almost $2,000 from it. So that's something. So look at, explore e-commerce. E-commerce is very, very easy. You don't need too much stress. I've also done e-commerce before, but I had to stop it because it was it was totally online, and I was not able to like really concentrate on that. That was why I stopped it. But it's like, it is easy if you can find a good product, put it online and sell. Another way is that, another way you can do it, you might not even need to put it on Shopify. What am I even saying? You can put it on Facebook Marketplace. Put it on Facebook Marketplace and sell. I've sold things on Facebook. I've sold things on Facebook Marketplace before. I've sold things on eBay before. Just put it there. So there was a time I was selling wigs. I get these wigs from Nigeria, right? And then I took one or two pictures, put it on eBay, made my description, and then I just got alerts. Somebody paid me. They wanted the wig. What did I do? I put the wig in a box, sprayed it, made it smell nice, posted it, €3 or €5. I have my €100 in my account. I bought the wig, I think maybe $50 or $50 or so. I gained my $40 as income on it. So like, it is not difficult at all to do those things. It is not difficult at all. Let me know if if my question answered your question. Another way for you would be, if, for example, if you're in Nigeria, or even if you're outside Nigeria, there are a number of agro fintech companies that you can invest in, right? And for example, anytime any day I would recommend agro partnerships, because I use them and I don't have any stress with them at all. Once my money matures, they even write me, please send your account so that we can, pay your payout. And I've been doing this with them for like some time now, and they've been consistent. Even last year, when a lot of fintech companies in Nigeria had agro investing companies had problems in Nigeria in terms of payout, agro partnerships were formidable in terms of, they were recipients, they were open, they were consistent in terms of how they pay people. And last year I got a payout from them last year too. So that's another, and it's so easy. All you need to do is, I think, you just download their app once they have new products, they let you know, they'll send you a message, and then you just need to like subscribe, and you get whatever you have to get automatically. Thank you, Oladayo. I hope that helps. How can I? Joshua is asking, how can I avoid impulse buying and spending after getting my earnings? Okay, I thank you very much for that question. That question is really, really important. And why is that? Most of us, we do business and we forget that we, as owners of the business, we ought to be paid. So when you run business, it's your time that you are choosing to invest in that business. So you have to pay yourself first. You have to pay yourself first. If you don't pay yourself first, you would impulse spend. You would spend money on things that that you don't need at the end of the day. In fact, if you don't pay yourself first, or even have a budget, before the money comes, you already have a budget for it, so that when the money comes, there's no there's no okay, something happened and I have to, no, there's no grammar. It goes automatically, because I think that's something for another day. And by the way, there's a video about impulse. I made a video about impulse spending on my channel. It's there. You can go to it and look at it, and I hope you enjoy it. So back to Josh question again. So the first thing you do is to make sure you are paying yourself first. That is, out of that profit, always have a percentage of what is going into my savings investment account, without any comma or no, whatever, because needs would always come. There will always be needs. And you know what? You cannot save the whole world. You cannot save the whole world. So pay yourself first. Put that money, maybe 20%, 30%. I don't know how much you want to put as your source of income, your source of, what's it called? Put it aside. Whether it's business, whether it is 9 to 5 that you're doing, always pay yourself first. And that is how you don't impulse spend. The other way you don't impulse spend is that you always have a budget. Always what? Have a budget. And the third thing that you can do to, reduce your impulse spending is like have a personal finance coach, have a personal finance partner or accountability partner. And I'm more than happy to support you, to talk you through, to give you my own advice as much as I can. And so that's it. That's how I would approach it. Any other question? We are 6 minutes away from our finishing time. I just let me know. I want some feedback from you. Just send me hello, send me hi, let me know you are here, let me know you're paying attention, and you have fun, you're having fun. Thank you too. Okay. And one last thing I think I have okay. Okay. So the question is, what are the three, thank you, Joshua. What are the three best actions that I can implement today towards my financial freedom? The three best actions that you can start doing today. Number one is to get educated on financial literacy. And you know where to do that? On my channel. I've made a number of videos about how to budget, how to save, how to avoid impulse spend, how to start investing, how to how to avoid money traps, how to invest in cryptocurrency, what is trading versus investing, how to differentiate, how to know which one you're doing. I've made so many videos. Okay, with all but I would say with all I've said so far, I will come to that. So that is so get financial literacy first. The second thing you have to do is that recognize that you are the capital to start to create wealth, which means that there's no amount of money anybody can give you that will make you wealthy. And that is why you see people who win lotteries after 2 years or 5 years of them winning, how many of them still have that money? It's because there's a disconnect between who they are in recognizing themselves as the capital and the money they have with them. There's a disconnect. So that is the second thing you have to start doing as from today. Recognize yourself, recognize that you are the capital. Because then you begin to use your brain, you begin to use your hands, you begin to use your heart, to actually generate income. And once you generate the income, you begin to turn it over and keep investing, because that is how you will then expand, compound, and grow out. So that is the second thing, right? The third thing that you have to do as from today would be that, don't spend all the money that comes into your hand. Don't do it. You cannot be wealthy if all you do is to eat all your income. You cannot. It's harsh, but it's the simple truth. No matter how small that money is, no matter how small, separate out savings and eventually move it into investing. Even if it's with piggy bank. You know what a piggy bank is? That thing that you drop money, exactly that one. Even if it's piggy bank, have it and then drop the money inside. One of the stories I came across where in January was a lady that gained almost, I think, $20,000 from Bitcoin by simply all the gift money, maybe tips, $50, $100, $20 that she gets. She uses it to buy Bitcoin since 2017. As at 2020 this year, 2021 this year, she said she was able to like cash out with almost $20,000. So don't eat everything. Just make it a, and that includes not giving it all out. Don't say I'm good at giving, but don't give yourself out to poverty. You understand what I'm saying? Don't. There's a limit to what you can give. Give strategically. Give with sense. Right? Give, because sometimes the people you are even giving, they do not appreciate it, or they are just wasting it. And so it's a waste. Of course, I know that, okay, yeah, it's just in the heart, but just be strategic about it. Personal finances is about, you being strategic about your life. Wealth creation is about you being strategic about your life, because you know what, and this will be maybe one of the final tip I will give to you. Wealth, there's nothing accidental about wealth creation. You don't stumble into money. No, you don't stumble into wealth. You have to work it, look at it, put in the work, your capital, the information, the tools, the risk. You have to work everything together, and that is how you can create some value in terms of wealth creation. Is there any other question? If there's no other question, let me know what your main takeaway today before we go. Let me know. Just give me your main takeaways before we go. And if you still have any other question, you can ask me. I would be more than happy to answer that. Because my plan was that we have it for 1 hour. And we started on time. And thank you for everybody that joined. I hope you've taken things away with you that you can work with. And I will drop my, what's it called? Just give me a second. Let me see if I can get it. I want to drop my link. So that if you have questions, you can send it to if you have questions, I want to send you a link so that you can send the questions to that link. Once we end this particular call. And if the information you've received today is too much, it's okay. The video will be online. So somebody's asking, okay, before I answer, thank you, Olayori. I would answer the question, but let me quickly say what I have to say. So I want to just put a link in the chat section so that you can send me your questions through the link. Yes. So you can send me. So I just posted a link. You can send me your questions through that link, and then I will pick it from there. So, and then you can always come back to the session, to the video. It will be on YouTube. You can always come back to learn more or to review, and then you can also share. Please share the video and like the video. I'll be more than happy. And also, share it on your platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, you know, share to groups that you belong to so that they can also learn, because you know what? Knowledge is power. All right. Olayori is asking that um giving with sense okay, giving with sense. How do you draw the line between how do you draw the line between being helpful and preserving a good part of our income? Sometimes I am unable to say no because I don't want to feel guilty. Okay. Thank you very much, Olayori. And I must say that that's a good question because because based on our culture, based on our faith also, it said, "Give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, running over, and all of that." So giving is key, and part of part of your it's also a core principle in personal finance, right? Okay, you are saying church giving too, especially when they have a lot of projects. Okay, thank you. I would try as much as possible to touch on it. So please note that giving is really important when you are looking at how to create wealth, because it's like it's a universal principle. So whether you are Christian or not, whether you are a Christian or not, giving works, and giving is a principle. It's very important. Giving is a universal principle. Which and what the thing about principle is that anybody can practice a principle. Anybody can practice a principle because what? Principle works. Principle works. Whether you are a Christian or you are a Buddhist or an Hinduist or a Muslim or anything, giving is works anywhere. Okay? So I want you to hold that. Now the question is, how do I yes, black tax, exactly. Black tax. So how do I give with sense? Okay. One of the first ways you can give with sense is that you have to budget your giving. The same way I said, budget paying yourself. Mm-hmm. That put that priority. Budget your giving. So maybe you're a Christian, for example, and you tithe. You know that okay, 10% is my tithe, and then another 10% to give to your parents, your family members, and any other emergencies. Do you understand? And that is it. So with that 20%, you know that okay, the major giving things in your portfolio, you've cleared it, right? And then another thing you have to make sure you're not doing is that you are not feeling emotionally blackmailed. Don't feel emotionally blackmailed with giving, because it might be that what you're giving the person, the money that you're giving the person, is not necessarily what the person needs. The person might just need access to a particular information. The person might need some other resources. The person might need something else and not necessarily money. Are you getting me? So, and in terms of church, also put it, if the church has a lot of projects, it's fine. But you know what? You cannot save the world. In my church, they will say, "It's a Lord that maketh rich and addeth no sorrow." And God, if you don't have it, God will not say, God will not tell you to come and God will not tell you to give what you don't have. One of my father in the faith will say, God will not tell you to give what you don't have. He said there was a day in church, and then they had a program, and they had an external person coming to take the sermon, and the person now called people how to vow to give. My father said, and he knew that those people that this pastor called out, he knew that they don't have that money. He said when the person left, like when the guest preacher or guest speaker left, he called the people that they were told to make a vow. He now said, I release you from this vow. I release you from this vow. Don't pay anything. Just don't worry. Don't you don't have to pay it. I release you from this vow. Don't put any burden on yourself. Don't put don't put anybody. Just I release you. Because he knows that they don't have it. And that is what happens most times in churches. So some people don't even excuse me, some people don't even have the money. And then you go and you come out, they say we are raising seeds, and then you come out and then you you vow what you don't have. And then when you vow that thing that you don't have, you now start grumbling. How do you expect God to accept that kind of offering from you? I don't know, Olayore, I don't know if I answered your question, right? So even in church, even for church giving, separate it. Only give what you have, what you can afford. And it doesn't have to only be in terms of money that you can support people. You can support people in so many other ways. Like I said, you can, serve them, you can connect them to some certain things, you can, help them in some other ways, but it doesn't have to necessarily be in terms of what's it called? Money. It doesn't have to necessarily be that. I've also given to people, and I also give to people, but then I don't necessarily give them money. So one of the things I give to people is like I give my wisdom. What I know, I share. And then I look at it. Okay, the time I'm spending with you, trying to help you solve this problem, I can also use that time to be doing something else. So I quantify my time in terms of money, in terms of income, and that is giving. For me, that's giving because I was telling someone one day that okay, you want me to coach you. You want a mindset reset about money. I'm going to coach you, and to cost you money. And then we started talking, and then we're like, how much do you want to collect? And I told him, don't worry, I'm not going to collect anything from you today. But then I made him realize that, okay, that I'm spending my time with you is value. So you take it serious, right? So you can also give people your time, you can serve, you can give some other things, which is not necessarily in terms of money. All right. Do you have any, Olayori, can you please reply if I've been able to answer your question? I will be more than happy to know that I have answered your question. Oladaya, are you asking a question about black tax, or do you want me to talk about it? Or just let me know. Otherwise, if there are no more questions, we can call it a day. But let me know, just give me some feedback so that I can know if we can close for today. And by the way, I want to make this more consistent now. So if you want to join in always, just put it also in the chat, and maybe you can tell me also how often you want to have it, like how often you want us to meet online like this and discuss this topic called personal finance or money, because it's a myth to so many people. It's like a black box to so many people. You're welcome, Olayori. I hope I'm glad that it's so helpful for you. It's a myth to so many people, right? And there are so many things you can discuss about. We can discuss how to start earning money. We can discuss how to treat our taxes, for example. We can discuss about insurance. We can discuss about mindset, so many things. So if there's any topic you want me to also discuss in the next one, which will be happening soon, drop it in the comment section. I will be more than happy to also pick that up. And if you have any question, I dropped the link to our mailing list on the chat there. Let me see if I can. Yes, and it's pinned. It's pinned, so you can drop your comment. Just put in your details and then drop your comment or your questions in the mailing list, because there are some other questions I was asked. Okay. Yes, you can drop your comments, Aladayo. There are some other questions that was asked, but I don't think I can treat everything today. But while we are waiting for Ladayo to drop her comment, I want to quickly see if I can. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Just give me a second. There are a couple of questions here. I don't think we can answer all now. Okay, somebody is asking for best investment to make in Canada. Another person is asking about investing. A number of persons have been asking about how to have a good debt or get out of debt. What is cryptocurrency? How to budget my finance and the right investment to go into. How to cover. There are a lot of questions, but I'm not sure if we can if we can take all today. What I would do is that, Olada, are you still asking your? Are you still dropping the comments, or should I just try to wrap up? So there are a couple of questions that so for example, somebody is asking how to have a good debt or get out of debt. All right, and what is cryptocurrency? Well, cryptocurrency, I made videos about cryptocurrency. I dropped one video today, so you can go to my channel to look for that particular topic. And then I made another video I think last 2 weeks ago, right, about okay, thank you. Thank you, I get it. Yes. Olayori, yeah, black tax is something that we have to, as African people or people of African heritage, is something that we have to look at. And for people who are on this call and they don't understand what black tax is, all right. So, that's responsibility you have on you to, give your family members money, your parents, your siblings, your friends, your extended family, your village people, your street people, your neighbors, everybody. That's responsibility that you have to, to give them something. It's called black tax. Because in reality, in other countries, for example, here in Europe, why should I be sending my mother $10,000 every month? Because for them, like, okay, my mother should be able to, like, take care of our own expenses. She should be able to plan for her own expenses while she's working, so that when she retires, she's able to take care of her expenses. So they don't pay that. And then why should I be responsible to finance my sister or my brother? That's the way they are, in terms, at least in this part of the world where I am. Of course they give, but not the way we look at that. Okay, this person has to, like, I have to, like, Africans will be like, okay, if you are the firstborn, then you have to make sure that, and you started working, you have to make sure that you support your parents, you pay your younger ones school fees, you make sure that everybody's okay, and that is black tax. That's black tax. And then it's a joy to do, because you know that you're not the only one. You're not the only one enjoying this life. You're also, pulling people together. Pulling people together. You're pushing them up together, because you cannot be the only rich person in the midst of poor people. It will be boring. It's boring. The top is boring, so you want to take people along with you to the top. All right, people, thank you so much. I'm going to call it a day now. It's so it's so nice to hear from you. But before we go, just you can drop your light bulb moment here in the chat box. Just drop your light bulb moment. I will pick it up, and then just So what are you taking away from the session of today? Just drop it. Drop it for me in the next 2 minutes. And while I say thank you to all of you, I'm really grateful that you joined. Thank you, Oladayo. Thank you, Olayori. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you, the other people I'm not saying their names. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for being on time. I'm really grateful. And then, like I said, we'll have another session soon. I will send you the the links, and I hope that we can continue this and we continue to learn and work together, to actually create some wealth for ourselves, because there is wealth to be created and to be enjoyed. So give me a final love up, your light bulb moment, the final. Just tell me how you feel today in the next 2 minutes before I end the stream. Thank you, Joshua. Joshua is saying that his light bulb moment was, if money does not eliminate poverty, what eliminates it is self-reliance. Exactly, and that is where I said you had a capital. You are the capital. Your 3H. Don't forget your 3H. Your head, your hands, your skills, and that is what gives you the self-reliance, and that is what will eliminate you from poverty and not money. Thank you so much for that. Any other light bulb moment? Then can call it a day. Thank you, guys. Okay. Then I would just say I'm happy that you joined me today. I would see you some other time, and so enjoy. Have a nice Saturday evening and a very fruitful Sunday. Bye bye.